start,
Okay.
you let us know.
All right, you are live.
Okay, well, thank you. And I'd like to call the special meeting, or the first scheduled meeting of June 14th, 2021 to order. And at this time, we'll take the salute to the flag. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag
flag
of the United States
of
of
the United States of
America,
America, and
to the republic for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
a
nation,
nation
under God,
God,
indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
June 14th, Flag Day. So, well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in here to our Zoom. Councilman Cusimano, dual duties here today, so we certainly appreciate it. Councilman Ed Kohovic is necessarily absent. His work schedule prevents him from attending this meeting, and I would declare Councilman Guinan necessarily absent as well. Moving to payment of bills. Karen, if you would please introduce them.
Manifest 11 for 2021 in the amount of $150,372.08 has been reviewed by the Victortown Board with the following accounts charged. General Townwide, General Outside Village, Parkland Trust, Highway Townwide, the lighting districts of Fishers, Brookwood Meadows, High Point, Cobblestone, Coil Ridge, Rolling Meadows, Stone Lay, and Legacy at the Fairways, and Trust and Agency.
Thank you, Karen. So let's see, up on the screen, we have those expenditures that range or exceed the $10,000. We have the Dutch Road guardrail repair. I know, Rich, I know you're on it. If you could do me a favor, just follow up with Mark. I'm assuming that there'd be potentially some type, if there was a police report, some type of maybe insurance claim on this. I don't know if Mark's aware of that. I think it was an accident. Councilman Cusimano, I think you even verified that through your other career.
There definitely should be an insurance claim for that would be available.
Okay.
Great, I will do that.
Thank you. Next is Harris Beach, month of May, Integrated Systems, June hosting, Lehigh Hanson, Phillips Road Materials, payment to the state comptrollers for February and March court fees, diesel fuel purchase, and RG&E. Total of these mentioned expenditures, $111,589.49. Total town expenditures minus these previous mentioned expenditures equals $38,782.59. Board members, are there any questions on this abstract?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, entertain motion to approve them.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Okay. Kevin, you have an interesting item for our attention.
Yes, there is a homeowner at 7256 Wincanton Way who is looking to sell their real property, and as part of the title search, it was discovered that their pool enclosure that has landscaping and a required fence actually encroaches on a conservation easement and is violative of the town code. The attorney for the homeowner reached out to see if there was anything that could be done by way of an amendment to the conservation easement to allow this area to be basically the borders of the easement to be modified so that the fence is outside of the conservation easement area. And in reviewing the text of the easement, it cannot be done simply by having the town and the landowner agree to the modification. Any other benefited owner within that subdivision would also have to sign off on the easement. But in looking at the easement language a little bit closer, I noted that there is language in the easement that does allow for the town and the homeowner to basically swap land, if you will, basically take a portion of the property out of the easement if they put the same amount of property back into the easement, so that there's the same number of acreage or square footage within the easement, both before and after. That type of land swap, or basically substitution of contiguous lands, if you will, is permitted under the text of the easement agreement. So in speaking with the landowners council, I wanted to inquire whether or not that the owner would be amenable to basically providing us with what is the square footage of the encumbered area, and is there a portion of the other remaining property that they would be willing to encumber with the easement if this encroaching piece was omitted. So what you have in your packet are two maps: the survey map that simply shows the pool and the boundaries of the easement area with the pool encroachment. That's about, I think it's 559 square feet in total. And then there's a revised survey map that shows a rectangular box around the pool enclosure easement, or I'm sorry, fence area that's in the easement, as well as if you go to the westerly boundary of the property, they've got a rectangular box that heads a little bit south.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Jeff.
I'm sorry. Keep
Oh,
going.
there's a box that's 559 square feet to the westerly edge of the property, where the landowner is proposing to encumber that area with the conservation easement. So that would be kind of their proposed land swap. I reached out to Andrew Phillips, to the chair of the conservation board, just to kind of get their to get his take on the overall matter, because again, this easement is not one of the most restrictive easements that the town utilizes. This easement actually allows for the landowner to mow, and they can actually put in landscaping within the easement area. They just can't have any permanent structures or fences. If this was a shed that was movable, I think that would be permitted. But the fact that here the landscaping around the pool is fine, it's purely the fence area that is a direct violation. So because this isn't one of the most restrictive conservation easements, the thought was that given the language of being able to swap for contiguous lands, it's clear that there was at least an indication that it would give a little bit of flexibility to the landowners to modify the conservation easement if it was if deemed approved by the town. So that's what I've mentioned. I've mentioned this to the landowners council as a way to try to mitigate this issue, to facilitate the sale that they're looking to have happen. So what's before the board today is if this concept is acceptable, and if the board would be amenable to a land swap. And if so, where is the proposed location acceptable, or where would it be better served if it were somewhere else? Again, I mentioned to the landowner, I'm like, look, I see what you're proposing, and I have no idea how the board's going to feel about it overall. They may want that, the area to be, the swapped area to be in a different location. Where you're proposing may be fine, or it may need to be adjusted. So I think from the landowner's perspective and the buyer's perspective as well, this area to the west is where the new buyer would like the conservation area to be. But again, I think both parties would be amenable to an alternative location if the town were to choose to do so.
I don't want to burden Mr. Phillips, but I would defer to the Conservation Board. I'd love for them to take a look at that closely. And I have no problem with the land swap. I agree it's a soft easement. I understand that. But I would defer to the Conservation Board taking a closer look at that, and I'd wait for their recommendation. And if they don't have a problem as it's proposed, I would follow their lead on this, I think.
That's fair enough.
Dave,
Anybody have any
great point.
questions or?
Yeah, I want to just follow up on what Dave said about referencing the Conservation Board. I know this this land homeowner probably doesn't want to see another step, but I know Councilman Kohovic, when I did speak to him last week, he was very adamant that we follow a process that we have. Conservation Board is, we rely on them to weigh in on these type of situations, and he would rather, if at all possible, they get that opportunity again, Kevin.
Oh, certainly. And I had cautioned the homeowners council that, in looking at the only little bit of nuance here is looking at the plans that were submitted to the town, the fence was not located within the conservation easement. When the project was complete, the fence is obviously located within the conservation easement, and a building permit, or I'm sorry, a certificate of completion was issued by the town. So from that perspective, I said that I think the town would certainly want to take a look at this and figure out if there's a way that this works, but there is a normal process, and usually it's not just the town board, but it's the conservation board that weighs in on these matters. And while the town board is meeting, I don't know that we're certainly going to have a definitive answer one way or the other following today's meeting. I said I was hoping to have at least a gut sense of, is the town board willing to, consider a land swap if that's amenable to the conservation board, or, is this something that is going to be disfavored, just so that I can give them a heads up so they can make plans as to what they want to do going forward. So certainly they've been cautioned that there is a process to follow. And to be honest, I think if the homeowner had located the fence where they had indicated pursuant to the plans and specs, they wouldn't be in this situation. So this isn't there's no need for the town board to do anything other than the normal process in approving this or denying it.
Okay, well, thank you. And so I would be supportive of the land swap based on certainly, a review by the Conservation Board.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, Kevin, thank you. Karen, I don't know if you have in front of you when the next scheduled Conservation Board meeting is.
Wait a minute.
Actually, it was for the 15th of this month, but they've already canceled it. So it looks,
July 6th.
yeah, July 6th.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you very much.
okay, thank you, Kevin. Any other questions for Kevin? Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Everybody have a great day.
You too. So we have one resolution accepting the 2020 Town of Victor and Town Justice financial audit reports. Are there any questions on
moved.
this?
So
Okay,
moved. I thought they looked good. I was pleased to see those.
I agree. I'll second that.
thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Susie, would there happen to be anyone for public comment?
No comments.
Okay. There's no further business by any board member. We'll call for an adjournment.
Make a motion. We adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again, thank you everyone for your time. Appreciate it. Have a great Monday.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
everybody.
Take care.